What's up, my nerdy guys and gals? I am back. I'm back from Anime Expo 2026. I posted my last video, and the reason why I'm finally able to post this video is due to the fact that I got back to work. So yeah, I'm back to work. But last week Anime Expo was so crazy. Today would have been day 4. Last week already, weeks gone by, but I want to share my impressions with Anime Expo this year. And relatively, Anime Expo 2026 was amazing. I can honestly say from a person who actually attends Anime Expo quite often. This was my 10th year going, and I've seen videos about people complaining about how Anime Expo fucked up and all that. And yeah, it's not perfect. And no convention is perfect. That's the part of it. Every convention gets to learn their mistakes on how they can adapt to be better. Anime Expo is not as part of that list. Anime Expo is not perfect. It's even though I go a lot, it's not perfect. But hell, I mean, I still go anyways. But I do want to tell you about the fact that my experience at Anime Expo was relatively amazing. I think I'm going to say the pros outdo the cons because, and I'll tell you why. Because relatively, the pros outweigh the cons because Anime Expo did a lot of fixes. They still have some things like line congestion, ticket sales, and all that, but relatively they underestimate the fact that the anime community comes to AX for this reason. But the SPJA did a really good job though, so I'll give it to them. So here's the thing: Anime Expo 2026 was a success. I'll give it a 90 out of 10 out of 100 because 10% was still manageable that they still got to fix. But let's talk about the 90%. First of all, Anime Expo expansion was amazing. I gotta tell you that Figueroa Street was a great catch from the 110 freeway all the way to which was Olympic Boulevard. That entire stretch was obviously perfect. It helped reduce lines. It helped cr- create less congestion. The food vendors were great, and yet expanding to the courtyard where Lindsey Graham courtyard, I believe that's called, the courtyard, and adding seats, water stations, medical area. It was well done. Anime Expo honestly didn't mess around when it came to the heat because they had watering holes everywhere, and watering holes they had the machines that gave you the, we could fill up like your watering and all that. And honestly, Anime Expo did a really good job doing that this year. I gotta give it to them because they were paying attention to a lot of things because people were asking for watering fountains and portable water fountains so people can get water for free, and that's really cool. Second thing is that while having water was cool and seating area, and I gotta tell you, the expansion played a role with that because with the expansion on the outside and going towards the entertainment arena, they use the crypto arena, the crypto arena, the Petrie Hall, the JW Marriott Diamond Ball and Platinum, the Novo, and the Microsoft Theater. They use those 5 for panels, and those are good. And not to mention the small panel rooms above in the 300, 400, 500 section. That was cool. And that's where the maid cafe is, the manga lounge, and all that. So Anime Expo expanded, and it was great. There were some issues which I will get later, but on the other hand, Anime Expo's expansion was really good. Not to mention the watering holes in the entire courtyard area were pretty cool because people can. There's like a huge box, about tall as me when standing up, and it was pretty big, and it had refilter water, so you can anyone add like three spouts on each side, so like 12 spouts. And it gave free water, and that was really cool because people get to take their water can to AX, and honestly, that was really awesome. Um, Another thing was the fact that the panel listing was crazy, but everyone managed to do that. I managed to go to the Demon Slayer panel, and I got managed to go to the Anipanex. There's some panels I missed because of time, but it was great. I still have to say there's a bit of issue with the whole autograph section, but I'm about to talk about the positive side. The positive side is the fact that at the JW Marriott, the ballroom is used often, and having those lines where you don't have to get ticket for AX was really cool. But there's some issues there that I'm going to address, but we're talking about the pros. But the Diamond Ballroom, though, the JW Marriott Ballroom, which was really used mainly for the cosplay autograph sessions for cosplayers, creators, and voice actors for both Japanese and English dub voice actors. I got to honestly meet really good voice actor Ryan Bartley, who I know personally, and I am gotta tell you, I actually do know Ryan Bartley. I actually know her pretty well. Where me and her are well acquainted, and she is such a sweetheart, and I'm glad I was able to meet her. But meeting her was awesome because the line to get to her line was like there was sections of 1 through 12 in the entire ballroom, and it's really cool that the backup area in the corner area was really good, and I'm glad they were able to do that. So that's a positive side. For the expansion, though, I like the fact that the Katani, South Hall, and West Hall all divided their um, basically all divided their vendors equally. Um, the exhibitors were put that couldn't fit into the South Hall were in the West Hall, and if they didn't fit into the West Hall, then they put into the Katani Hall, which was packed, but it was still really cool to check out. I did like the fact that though the South Hall was roomy, and there was a lot more room, and congestion flow was pretty relatively easy. And of course, I have to tell you why. So the 2028 Summer Olympics are going to be in LA in 2028, and so they're working on the hall. So some of the West Hall, some of the South Hall, and Pico Street behind the convention center corridor where you're walking, where they connect both halls, that entire hallway. That is closed. That's going to be closed for about a year, and they're supposed to apparently be at least one section be ready by 2027, apparently. But again, I have no words about that. But let's go back to what I'm saying. So the South Hall, West Hall, and Katani Hall were great. They had really good flow on there. The South Hall, where you go up the stairs to go to the into the South Hall, that was pretty good too because there's some minor congestion, but despite everything, I think it really got a good flow, and people managed to get the cosplays. Photographers were down there. There were even like professional cosplayers that were down there. It was awesome, and I do like the fact that this year that they had a lot more cosplayers. Part of that, and that's what I gotta tell you. Another thing is the fact that Anime Expo had so many professional cosplayers for things like Endgame, Nikkei, Genshin Impact, the even games like Silver Palace and many other gotcha games that were being there at AX had professional cosplayers, and it was cool. It was really cool seeing the fact that the number of cosplayers that were professional, stupid net, was relatively amazing. I do like the fact that a lot of these cosplays were so freaking cool. Like it was amazing. That's another positive thing. The Summer Dance, the Idol Summer Fest was really awesome. I like the fact that seeing idols that we never seen perform, that was fun. I got that. And then it's in the courtyard, not courtyard. It's in the hall um, E and hall F. It's pretty cool, and it was honestly fun. I actually got to see a lot of good talent come to Anime Expo for the very first time, and it was fun. I gotta admit it was fun. And honestly, the Microsoft, and crypto held amazing, amazing, amazing panels. For instance, the Damien Star panel at the Microsoft Theater was freaking awesome. I was pretty close, so I was around 12 rows back, and I actually got to see the three voice actor for Shinobu, Tanjiro, and Giyu, which was really cool. And I think it was fucking amazing that we got to see the voice of Shinobu back because I love her work. She is great, despite what happened to Shinobu at the very end. Yeah, but still, it was great. We got to see them. We got to see them perform some of their live action. We got to see some of the live auditions or live auditionings, which was really cool right there. Another thing was that Crunchyroll, Bushy Road, Good Smile Company, Square Enix, Side Games, Mappa, Hulu, Aniplex, Sega, and that's just of many, had interactive stuff. That's another positive thing about Anime Expo this year. Anime Expo really had a lot more interactive stuff where it comes to the aspect of wanting people to connect. And just like in South Hall, this was really cool. South Hall and the West Hall had interactive stuff, and people could take photos, video, and all that because Crunchyroll was really cool. I gotta admit, Crunchyroll was really good with the fact with that, and that's why I'm going to say this. Interactively, Anime Expo was better with this. There are some YouTubers like Iron Mouse there, which was really cool. Iron Mouse and Sea Dog were there again. I mean, practically, those two are like peas in a freaking pod. They're like this. They stick together, and all that. And personally, I think it's cool. Um, the interactive area, like the dummy booth at the Crunchyroll, which was really cool, which you can actually dub with your own voice. That's really cool. And I gotta admit, I couldn't do that because the line was pretty long. But Witch Hat sent it to be a hero. They had the little rope. They had a little robot right there, animatronic, which was really cool. By the way, I got to see it. But yeah, that was part of everything, and I really had to say, Anime Expo was very successful. The West Hall was the same thing. The West Hall was really generally the same thing because they had the Dandadan booth where they had a professional race car, a Formula One with Dandadan characters on there. It was freaking cool. Barclays was actually on the car, but having anime characters was there, and I think that was great. I think, and then you had Silver Palace with their interactive booth. They even had a YouTuber performance at one of this at a booth. Ocean Vale is there. I don't know. Ocean Vale is 18 plus. Generally an 18 plus app for anime. So I'll leave it there. But they had a list of voice actors, of the English of voice actors, which is really cool, by the way. And some of them I actually recognize of their anime work that's not that's not 18 plus, but it's really cool. And you can actually meet them on certain days and all that certain hours, which is again really cool. OCBL also had their own panel, which I gotta say it was it was interesting, and meeting the actually English voice actors that do all the 18 plus anime, which is funny, but I gotta give their credit where it's due. It was worth it. It was actually worth checking out. But yeah, but West Hall had some good things. South Hall some good things. JW Marriott was good too. The planning of they using the Platinum Room and Diamond Ballroom, and also not to mention that the Crunchyroll Lounge was there at the JW Marriott. The beer garden was really cool too. That was huge. That was huge, and honestly, that was really huge. I got to talk about the fact that this wasn't just the beer garden, but it was really cool because they had beer garden stage and you had food, and then you had the Natasha cars was curved was there too, and the Natasha cars were really cool. I gotta say it was really cool. You saw a four Raptor, you saw the Miku car, which won a professional race. It did. That's really cool. But relatively, Anime Expo is great. The beer garden, the food, food, it was good. There was a lot of things I had to say about Anime Expo that was really positive, and I think that positive outdid the negative. And I'll speak about the cons that Anime Expo still has to work on, but to get in Anime Expo honestly wasn't too bad. To be honest, it took anywhere from I guess 30 minutes to almost 45 minutes. It wasn't bad, to be honest. And that's where I have to tell you. The lines weren't as bad, even waiting for panels, which was not bad at all. Because the cabin covering in the Lizzie Graham area, in the Grand Plaza, it's right there. There's kind of a tent that had for the 400A, the 400 through the 403 area, or the booth, not booth, but the 403 room line, and then they had like lines where you can line up for the 400 booths, or the rooms for panels, which was really cool. On the other hand, there are some cons that Anime Expo still has to work on. For instance, this is one section that really gets it. The West Hall, getting to the West Hall, getting up there is easy, but it's where you got to the level where where the West Hall, going to the West Hall specifically, and then you have that corridor, that entire hallway, that congestion area where everything is, like the escalator and the food area and Lounge 21. That area is really needs work. I really gotta tell you, it took me a while just to get there, but because I love how they split the lines, but still that area just got congested. Day two, they had to close it, because of a panel ending, and then it just got too much where the fire marshal had to step in again. It's just relatively annoying. I just don't understand how Anime Expo doesn't extend the walkway to basically to start and just start separating, but that's AX. AX still has this problem with that area. On the other hand, another con that I think Anime Expo is the autograph section. The autograph section is great, but when you wait for a voice actor you really want to meet, this is where I have to tell you, waiting for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes for just to meet a voice actor is just way too long. Because I was meeting Ryan Bartley, and this is an issue that I saw. There is this guy, and he was meeting Ryan Bartley. No big deal. But he took 1, 2, 3, 4 different things from his backpack, talking with her, which again is awesome, but he spent at least 15 minutes with her. And it's like, I get it, you want to meet this voice actor. Everyone does. And the line behind me was getting really long. And it was honestly pathetic, because this is an issue that not just me, but many voice actors, the many attendees for AX have to understand. I'm a professional cosplayer, so I do a lot of conventions that are in like my coming up is going to be St. Louis Anime Fest, and I'm going to Wichita. I'm going to Anime 405, and then I'll be going to Columbia Anime Fest, which I'm still waiting for my organizer to confirm that. But the point is, I don't like when people wait in line for such a long time. I think AX needs to limit how many minutes you spend with a voice actor. And I think this is an issue that many people can agree with me that 3 to 5 minutes is enough time to talk with a voice actor. Because if you do have enough um, stuff that you want the voice actor sign, that's great. Because Faye Mata was right next to Ryan Barley, and her line went quick, and she was talking. She was being awesome. She was yeah. She was talking with her. She was talking with her guests. She was also talking with the people. She was laughing. She was carrying on, but she still had everything. Even Brandon Knickerbocker was next to Ryan Bartley, and her line was going fast. And I mean, I get the fact that people want to, but that's just an issue that I just noticed at Anime Expo. And this was day one. This was at 10 in the morning, and I didn't get to the line till almost like 10:30. But it shows you that it still has to solve that issue, but we'll see in the future. But Anime Expo, that's an issue I think most of us will agree with. I think another con I notice is con I think I noticed was the fact that the congestion of some areas, like where the Love and Deep Space booth, and then you had the Hoyoverse. Back to back, that was one of the worst areas at AX. That's because it I didn't get my Genshin bag till Sunday. That's how long it took me because the lines were so long, for one, and secondly, this was an issue. Having Love and Deep Space and Genshin right near each other, like right here, right near each other. That was an issue because that area was congested and it took forever. But I was able to manage to get my booth. But on the other hand, it was great. But I think, and the only thing about it I have to say is the fact that security was on it, which was nice. But I think that's probably the only cons I can know. I mean, I don't want you to think of. But one pro that was one pro I forgot to add in this was the freebies. The freebies were so amazing from Hoyoverse, from manga, Viz Media, Animex, Crunchyroll. All their freebies were great, and I gotta tell you, from the West Hall, South Hall, and Katani Hall, they were giving out some amazing freebies that honestly were good, and these truly were amazing. That's another pro that I got to add. And another pro I did forget to mention that security was on it pretty damn well. So that's gonna be another pro. One con is they one con is the fact that I think they need to have more shady spots for some of the guests because it did seem some of the areas were overtaken with people because there's a certain amount of shady areas. But in all honesty, though, I would give Anime Expo a 90 out of 100. There's still some stuff that Anime Expo has to work on, but as a whole, I cannot say Anime Expo is not perfect. It isn't. But on the other hand, X 2022, X 2022, 2023 were bad. I mean, those were so bad that we had to have. We had a lot that year. But X 2026, I think, got better. And I think there's still more room for improvement for Anime Expo. But this year was good. And a total amount of people, over 122,000 people, attended Anime Expo. And I'm not joking. This is a real thing. You can look on their Facebook page. They posted over 122,000 people for 4 days at Anime Expo in LA. Yeah, but generally, Anime Expo was great. I had a good time this year, and I will be going back for 2027. And attending my 10th year for AX, I give 2 thumbs up. Now, Anime Expo, I would say give it A+ because they still have stuff to work on, but not it's not an A+, but it's still an A. I'll give them an A- because they still got some stuff to work on. But at the end of the day, Anime Expo still managed to provide a good time, interactive fun, and so many awesome freebies from buttons to stickers to free manga, and of course my free manga sampler. This I've had 10 of these ever since I got one, my first one, which is really cool, and these are awesome. I'm glad Viz Media. Shout out to Viz Media to making these because these are really awesome. But at the end of the day, though, guys, at the end of the day, Anime Expo really did prove to be fun, and there were some stressful moments, but at the end of the day, it was good. I had a good time. So, oh, that's the end of this video. Anyways, like and subscribe and hit that bell for more content because I will be doing more videos like this, and I will be talking about anime coming up. Because the Mushoku Tenshin Season 3 panel was amazing, by the way. I didn't really get to see it, but I've heard so many good things about it. There's up to episode 1 and episode 2, which was cool. Yeah, the 2 episodes that we've been waiting for. Like I said, and Anime X did amazing because we got to see Madoka Magica, the final trailer, which is beautiful, by the way. Beautiful. I love Anime X. So, anyways, my nerdy guys and gals, I have to I sign off, and I'll see you all again real soon. Peace.